welcome to Same Cast Different Day podcast. I am Martel ROWLAND. Thank you for clicking and downloading and listening to this episode. I'm not quite sure what's going on with my volume here, but I'm gonna work it out. I'm gonna rough it out. Anyway, it is a very cold, dark, rainy morning here in Wisconsin, and geez, I've missed summer already. Well, not really a summer person. I don't like the 80,000 degree weather. I don't like that. I like more than 70-ish weather. But anyways, getting a little bit off topic. So, the election is coming up. It's coming up very fast. Please make sure that you go out and vote for your president, people. Please make sure that you go out and vote. Your vote counts. Your vote matters. All right, sorry, I had to switch microphone cords if I can hear myself better. So, like I was saying, please make sure y'all got on vote. It's been so nice seeing the record number of people out doing early voting. Here at the Midtown Shopping Center, the long lines that I saw for people voting was just amazing, and I couldn't be more happier. So please make sure you go out and vote because first of all, we need to get this man out of office who keeps claiming that we need to slow the testing down and all these other things. So we do need to get him out of office for that reason and that reason alone. Just that reason enough should just be enough reason to want to vote this man out of office. And then what I wanted to talk about was please wear your mask. Wearing masks is very important. I know it annoys everybody. It annoys me. And yes, I do wear my mask when I go out in public now. It was crazy because when I was out getting my windows tinted on my car and I'm in the waiting area, and I had saw so many people, and then I saw a group of people, at least 4 people, walk in, and they didn't have on a mask. And I don't think the people tinting my window was wearing a mask. So yes, it is very important. Please make sure you wear a mask because where I live at now, we are testing. I think yesterday the numbers were about 4,000 people tested positive in one day for the virus here where I live at, and it's getting worse. We've seen a increase in people dying, a new high in numbers of people dying a day here in Wisconsin where I live at from the coronavirus. So please take this coronavirus serious. And apparently Sammy or Tommy wants to make an appearance. I wish they would go away, but I guess I can't control everything. My allergies are been so whack, especially with the weather going up and down, up and down, up and down. Like 1 minute we're like in the 30s and 40s one day, and then the next day we are like in the 60s. So yeah, and I'm one of those people who don't really listen to the weatherman, and I go outside with no jacket on. So hey, lesson learned. I know not to do that, so I'm gonna start wearing my jacket. Um, so what I wanted to get into was the meaning of Mariah Carey. So I finally listened to. Well, I said listen. Lord have mercy. Read almost halfway through the book. I'm almost at the end of the book. I'm still doing the glitter era right now, and it's it's crazy. One thing that I had wanted to talk about was that in her book she mentioned that Biggie, Notorious B.I.G., was supposed to be on the remix to the Honey song, but due to circumstances, and they did talk about it, and a studio session was set up for him to record his verse for the remix, but he died. I don't know when the date was actually set up. They never said what the date was. Well, she never said what the date was in the book, but he died before he was able to make that recording session. So yeah, like I was wondering what would have that remix sound like? What would it have still went number one? Would it have been number one longer? Because apparently everybody thought that Mariah and Notorious B.I.G. had beef because he mentioned Mariah in a song, one of his songs. So yeah, I just wonder what it would be like. But I gotta tell y'all, when she talked about Jennifer Lopez and she threw shade at Jennifer Lopez without mentioning Jennifer Lopez's name, and it's crazy because you only know that she mentions Jennifer Lopez is if if you were a fan of Mariah Carey's and you know the whole big I don't know her thing, but so apparently Jennifer Lopez team group whoever some say that it was Tommy, well she think that it could have been Tommy Mottola trying to basically destroy her career because she left him, no, divorced him and everything, and had left Sony Music, so that was his way in trying to sabotage her. And I guess she had recorded the Glitter album or had started working on Glitter album while she was still under the record label that Tommy Mottola was under, even though the Glitter album was released under Virgin Records, I guess, or the movie or something like that. I don't know. The whole, yeah. Anyway, but apparently Jennifer Lopez stole the beat that she originally planned on using, which was something about firecracker or something like that, and so that led to Mariah at the last minute had to change everything up, had to get the rights to use Cameo for the lover boy that we know today. And I think at one point, uh, Mariah and Ja Rule was supposed to do a song together, but once again, Tommy Mottola stepped in and interfered and made that happen with Jennifer Lopez and Ja Rule. So I was like, just it was just I'm like, wow. And the whole TRL debacle. Um, in her words, like she like to say, a lot of people think that she just planned, showed up unscheduled, unplanned, whatever. And she was like, you can't just show up to TV like that or a TV show like that unplanned and unscheduled. Like there's security that has to be in place. Producers have to know. She said maybe Carson Daly didn't know, and instead of just playing along with what was going on, he just made it seem like Mariah was kind of losing her mind or whatever. And then he didn't make. Then when he was, I guess, when she started like taking off clothes to reveal the bikini or whatever outfit that she had on, um, that's when he started playing on and saying whatever he's saying, like, oh yeah, Mariah, all that kind of mess. And she was like, it just all under misunderstood. And then when they was playing with Mariah had her breakdown, she was like, well, she was going for at least 2 weeks in a row. Well, at least 2 weeks. She was getting only 2 hours of sleep. All she wanted to do was sleep. The record label kept calling her. I think at one time they was calling her house so much that she left and went to a hotel where she forgot to tell them to not to let anybody know she was there. And the record label and her brother and her mama and all these people found her there when she was trying to sleep, banging on the door. So then she ended up having this whole shout thing or whatever. And her brother convinced her to go to her mom's house. And then so she finally get to her mom's house, try to do some stuff at her mom's house, try to go to sleep. And when she finally go to sleep, here go her mom walking, knocking at the door. And she yells at her mom, and her mom being the only white woman in the house with a bunch of, what seems to be minority people, called the police. And even though it was Mariah's house, Mariah Carey paid for her mama's house, the house center, I guess everything was in Mariah's name. And the police still asked her to leave because, once again, she felt like, because they only asked her to leave because, once again, her mama gave that distraught, like, I'm in trouble white woman look when there's a bunch of, brown people, minorities in the house. So she ended up having her take her somewhere. She said she heard about it. She never really knew about it. She just heard about it. She thought it was a good place to go. And it turned out to be, what we all almost like a psychiatric facility, but it's not what you thought. It wasn't made for celebrities. But anyway, yeah, so that's how far along I got along the book so far. And yeah, like I said, I'm just like, the stuff that I've learned about her is just like, wow. And it's crazy because looking at her and reading her book and looking at her and reading her life experience, you'd be like, oh, this is Mariah Carey. Like, you wouldn't have thought that she has went through this thing with her family, with her, people trying to sue her. Like, I believe her brother gave her $5,000 one time to, I guess, help with her demo or to help pay for the recording session for her demo. And every time it's like he never let her forget. And every time he needs some money, he always mentioned that $5,000. And it's just crazy. And she revealed that her sister was basically a drug addict. And like I said, I won't believe one of the on the last whatever episode I talked about her last book on. Her sister tried to pimp her out. Her sister is HIV positive, so she did talk about that, but we all knew that. Um, it's just so much, and you look at her like, no, this is Mariah Carey, and you just be like, no, it can't be. But yeah, that's the craziness that's going on. So yeah, that was my spiel on what I got out of the book so far. So what I want to move into and talk about was the Tulsa officer. I believe I talked about this on the last episode. The Tulsa officer who shot those three people in a span of 5 years. So basically, they are not filing charges against him. I'm not quite sure if he's back on the force, but I guess they're going through the whole procedure, see if they're gonna let him back onto the police force. I still, police officer name was Joseph Mensah, and I believe that this man still should have been fired from his job. I don't care. There should not be no hearing. There should not be no questioning. There should not be no interview. There should not be nothing. This man should be fired, and he shouldn't. And he should be doing jail time. Like there's just seriously no way that you're just killing this many people and you're gonna and it's constantly well, he is getting away with it, but it should not be happening, and this man should be, you know, fired and sent to jail. My personal opinion. And then the teenager, I did get an update. The teenager who shot and killed, I believe, two people, one or two people, or he killed two people and then injured one down in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So the teenager is facing jail charges. They are going to try to charge him. They're going through the whole trial process. So this teenage boy is going to be facing charges. So this teenager, if you not up to date with this, was from Illinois. He drove from Illinois, and they called themselves protecting Kenosha, Wisconsin. His group, more likely probably some Trump supporters, was checking or white supremacists were well, white supremacists are Trump supporters. Hmm. Yeah, called us a protecting Kenosha from the Black Lives Matter people. Basically, not all Black Lives people riot. I don't know why they get that. Like, all of them are going to riot and loot and stuff. Like, there are people who do peaceful protesting still. But anyway, although they did burn Kenosha to the ground, they burned it to the ground. I don't even think they burned down a probationary office. But anyway, yeah. So this 17-year-old boy caught himself going out there with these grown men, talking about they're going to protect Kenosha, and Tommy's going crazy, protect Kenosha and stuff. And he ended up, I guess these protesters tried to run him out of town or whatever, run him away from wherever they was at, and this boy, 17-year-old boy, shot and killed two people, and he's trying to fight it like it was self-defense. Like, these two men didn't shoot at you. And like, some of these people are so scared to have a fist fight, and they're so quick to pull a trigger. Like, really, what is wrong with y'all? But anyways, that's my update on that. I want to go back to, make sure that you guys go out and vote, because your voting matters. Please go out and vote. And you can follow the podcast on same cast different day podcast on Facebook, and you can follow on Twitter and Instagram at SCDD Podcast. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Martel ROWLAND. So thank you all for downloading this episode. Thank you all for listening to this episode. Please make sure that you go out and vote. And if you don't want to go vote on November 3rd, early voting is open. It is available. Please go out and vote if you did not do absentee voting. Wear your mask, stay 6 feet apart, and make sure you follow all guidelines that they have at the election polls to vote. So thank you all for listening, and see you next episode.